have a very slim or skinny point end. It's not reinforced. It might break the tip at some point. Of course, you got the Spidey hole, because that's what makes a Spyderco knife a Spyderco knife, right? TA on both ends, right? Something to keep in mind there. You have TA on the pivot, and then you have T6 everywhere else. Hello and what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Miguel and you are watching Miguel EDC, where we talk everything EDC gear. Today we're going to be reviewing this guy right here. Boom, the Spyderco Smock. This guy has been a tank of a knife. I've been so happy to EDC this thing. I kind of fell in love with this thing the second I saw it, and I just can't wait to share my experience with you guys. So if you guys are ready, I'm ready. Let's get into it. Here we go. Let's start with a quick measurement. Just get the measurements out of the way here. Let's see what we got going on with this guy. Right off the bat, total length, this guy comes in at exactly 8 inches overall length, 8 inches total. The blade is going to be 3.5 length, but the actual cutting edge is going to be exactly 3 inches, right? So we got some exact measurements here with this guy. And as far as the handle goes, that handle is going to be about 4.5 inches total. All right, so there are your measurements right there. What do we got going on with this guy, this amazing, beautiful Spyderco looking thing here? So this is a Taiwan made Spyderco. It is a Smock design. I don't know if you guys recall from the unboxing, I had no clue what that was all about right there. It also has this ghost looking gear right here. I'm not very Spyderco savvy to be able to tell exactly what that gear is or what it means, but I'm sure I'm going to do my research by the time I do the review and let you guys know what that's all about. But yeah, I am happy to report that logo right there is the Smoke. Not Smoke. See, that keeps happening to me every time I try to say this knife's name. It's not Smoke, it's the Smock. All right, and that is the Smock design logo right there. I got a chance to research that. Smock designs, I mean, the knives are beautiful. They all sort of have the same design language with the 3 holes, sort of the savage looking blade right here. It is just an amazing, I guess you could call it a Warncliffe, sort of. Yeah, Warncliffe design, somewhat of a drop point. You guys be the judge. I'm not a blade shape design guru, but you kind of get the idea. But yeah, Smock designs are beautiful. This is a collaboration here between Smock and Spyderco, and I mean, they got it done. They did an amazing job here with this guy. Let's get a quick blade stock thickness on this guy. On the thickest portion, this guy's going to be 0.11, right? 0.11 inches as compared to, right, I just want to point this out, as compared to 0.14 inches on the PM2 and Para 3. So it's a little bit slimmer, also on the blade, right? Something to keep in mind right there. So once again, that was 0.11 inches, right, on the blade stock thickness. At the very tip though, let's see, what do we got going on here for the very tip? It might not be, there you go, 0.02 inches at the very tip. So I know the PM2 and the Para 3, they both drop to a 0.01 inches. This one, I like that it is not as you still have a very solid, thick blade all throughout, right? For most people who are concerned that the PM2 and Para 3 have a very slim or skinny point end, it's not reinforced, it might break the tip at some point. Well, obviously you're not going to be doing any prying or anything crazy like that with your knife, but if you're looking for that extra strength on the blade tip, I think this Smock has a better, stronger blade tip than the PM2 or Para 3. All right, you guys be the judge of that right there. You can clearly see how much thicker the blade on the Smock is all throughout compared to the PM2 right there. All right, check out the blade right there. Check out how aligned that is, right? There is no concerns of that blade being skewed one way or the other. It is dead center. You guys be the judge of that. Let me know in the comments. All right, let's also get a quick weight on this guy, right? So for comparison purposes, let's compare here. The PM2 was 3.8 ounces and the Para 3 was 3.4 ounces, right? This guy, to me, feels a little bit heavy. I want to say maybe 3.8 or 3.9. Right, 3.7, so it's 0.1 ounces less than the PM2. All right, so it's still right there. It's not too bad, even though it feels like it has a substantial weight to it. Feels premium, feels quality. All right, one more time for scientific purposes. There it is, 3.7 ounces of weight on the Spyderco Smock. This beauty right here is rocking a CPM S30V, right, which is an excellent steel. You know, the steel technology is getting better and better over the years. So yes, there are better steels out there, but if you go back a couple of years, right, this was top-notch, very top tier steel, and still is to this day. This thing is so sharp. I can't wait to show you guys on the paper cutting test in a little bit how sharp this guy still is, even after all the EDC tasks that I've been throwing at it over, you know, a couple of months by now. So we have, again, that very interesting Smock looking blade design, very Warncliffe looking, you know, sheep's foot looking design right there. Of course, you got the Spidey hole, because, you know, you got to have the Spidey hole. That's what makes a Spyderco knife, right? So you have that going on right there. Of course, you got the Spider logo on this side, Spyderco as well. On the other side, you have the Smock logo, and it says Taichung, Taiwan, which is where this guy's made. This is not a US made knife. This is a Taichung, Taiwan made knife. And don't let that fool you guys. Don't let that fool you whatsoever. The quality on this guy is top tier, you know, just because it's made overseas. sees, it does not hinder the quality and the performance on this guy whatsoever. The Taichung factory is probably up there next to the US and Japan Spyderco factory. So you're gonna get a solid, very pristine, high quality knife, no doubt about that. So what do we got going on for the handle? We have a G10 going on right here. This is sort of like what they try to do here is they try to do a carbon fiber sort of texture to it, even though it is G10. You may like or dislike that. I know some people are very on the fence. You know, if it's gonna be carbon fiber, make it be real carbon fiber, not G10 wannabe carbon fiber. But I'm fine with it. I like it for what it is. I know there are some really nice, sweet grenade looking scales and titanium scales. This is one of those knives you could really customize the way you want. That being said, let's do a quick hardware check on this guy. By the way, the tools that I use are very affordable. They're going to be linked down below in the description. They're going to be part of the Spyderco tool set. It has all the drill bits you could possibly need to take apart your knives and maintenance your knives, and even so many other things around the house. Links down below. Check them out. There are affiliate links that support the channel at no extra cost to you. I want to say my guess with this guy is probably going to be T8 on the pivot and T6 on the handles, which honestly might be a little bit disappointing, whereas you get T8 in the handle and T10 in the pivot with the other Spydercos. But let's test that. Let's start with T6. Let's see what we have here. Yes, T6 here on the handle right there, right? That is T6. And then we have, T6 on the pocket clip as well, which is, by the way, is aftermarket, right? And we'll talk about that a little bit more. And then as far as the pivot goes, that pivot is going to be a T8, right? T8. Wish it was a T10 like on the other Spydercos, but yes, it's going to be T8 on both ends, right? Something to keep in mind there. You have T8 on the pivot, and then you have T6 everywhere else. So I kind of developed this own way of deploying the knife where if you kind of move your wrist down and push the button, that's the only way to sort of open it, because you can't open it, right, like you typically would open a button lock. I give you a perfect example right here. The Crawley is a button lock, so I could open it like this with the button, right, flick of the wrist all day, every day, right? Same deal with, let's say, the Civivi Elementum button lock, right? Obviously that's a button only deployment, right? So you have to use a button to deploy. This one is not a button lock in that sense. You know, I can't push the button and open it that way. So the only way I found after just playing around with this guy that you can open it is just moving your wrist down like this. Make sure you don't let go of the knife, and then just pushing the button, right, just like that. So I know it's not ideal. I mean, it's just kind of just a fun way to deploy it. If you own one of these, test it out. Let me know if you're able to pull that off. And of course, you have the flipper, right? Can't go wrong with a flipper opening. This thing is solid. It does take a substantial amount of push with your index finger, but once you kind of get the feel for it, then you know about how much pressure to apply, right? And you get to get that over and over and over and over again. All right, in conclusion, would I recommend this guy? Yes, I would recommend this guy 100%. This is one of my favorite Spydercos. So if at some point my Spyderco collection grows a little bit and I do a top Spyderco knives, this is definitely going to be in there, just because I love this design a lot. Personally, it speaks to me. I'm attracted to it. It's just so savage looking, right? I love it. I love it. Every single thing about this knife, personally. You're going to have a solid cutting edge with this guy, no doubt about that. The blade is going to hold an edge for a while. Should be pretty decent to sharpen when the time comes as well. The materials are very nice and high quality as well for the price. Could it be maybe a little bit more affordable? Perhaps, right? Perhaps. I'm there with you. The $200 was a little bit of a hard pillow to swallow at the beginning, right? But then once I pulled the trigger, it was definitely worth it, right? I'll give you an example. This is no longer the most expensive knife in my collection right now. I paid almost $300 for this guy right here, the exoskeleton from Riyadh, and this guy is a full-on gravity knife in titanium with black micarta, right? So I mean, there are knives that you're going to be willing to pay a little bit more just because you like what they bring to the table, the materials, the design, things like that. By the way, I'm EDCing this guy so I can do a review here in the near future. That being said, guys, if I missed anything, let me know in the comments. If you have any questions on anything that you would like to be answered, please let me know down below. I'll be hanging out in the comments. If there's anything I can answer for you, or perhaps I missed in the review, I'll be happy to answer those questions for you down there. That being said, guys, by the time you are done watching this video, right, if you made it to the end, by the way, you're the real MVP. Chances are the review from the Riyadh XOM is going to be ready, right? If that's the case, I'm gonna put a card right here for you. Go ahead and check it out. Let me know what your thoughts are. Thank you so much for sticking to the end, guys. You are all the real MVPs. I'll see you next time. Take care. Have a wonderful day. Peace.